Hey everyone, it's Dr. Stacy Naito, and today I'm going to talk to you about the Pure Beautanics RESTORE formula. So I'm just going to come out in full disclosure and tell you I am 54 years old. I turned 54 in July, and it's December now, so I'm 54 years and 5 months old. And so I love products like RESTORE because RESTORE is a great way to get you feeling and looking your best. And so I'm going to back that up with my own experience. So now RESTORE is a powder that is comprised of greens powder, collagen, and mushrooms. So it actually tastes really good. There's a vanilla flavoring in there, and it's a very mild vanilla flavor. It's not something that's overpowering. And it will mix up green, of course, because of the greens powder. But this product, because of the collagen content, should help with your joints. It should also help with your skin, and also it can help with mental clarity and with energy. So I'm going to talk about my own experience, and I recently had a fractional CO2 laser treatment done, I think just in celebration of being 54, and also wanted to make sure that my skin looked its best, because I do work as a physician in cosmetic dermatology. I have to basically look the part. So I had this CO2 laser treatment, and my skin was so parched and irritated. In fact, I'm continuing to have issues with the dryness, the irritation, and so I started using the Pure Beautanics RESTORE formula about, it was like just under 2 weeks ago, and it was like, yeah, maybe like 13 days, something like that. I did skip a couple of days in between because I was just so crazy busy. I simply just didn't have time to even run into the kitchen and mix this up. That's usually not how I am. I'm usually on top of my supplements, but I did miss a couple of days. I'm actually glad I missed a couple of days because I can tell you about my experience. Now, as far as mental clarity, maybe within a couple, 3 days, I may have noticed that I was a little bit sharper than normal. And that is also given the fact that I am under tremendous stress all the time because I juggle a bunch of different careers. So I'm constantly running around. So I did notice maybe a little bit of a boost in my mental clarity while I was, shortly after I started using the RESTORE formula. As far as my energy levels, I would say I didn't feel any more tired than I usually do. I mean, I usually have decent energy. Actually, one thing I did notice was before I started using RESTORE, I would sit on my chaise, which is in my den, and it would be at the end of the day, like 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I would just knock out. Like my head would slump down and I would knock out. And actually, I just thought about this. I haven't had a single incident like that since I started using the RESTORE. So maybe it is good for energy. So that's great. So with respect to my joints, I have noticed since I started using the RESTORE formula that I am not as creaky. I don't have as much joint pain. And in fact, there was one incident that kept occurring, and it was, I swear to you, coincidentally, it was right before I started using the RESTORE powder. And what it was my hands were cramping like crazy in the morning, and it was because of arthritis. But basically the joints in my hands, going into my fingers, and then my fingers as well. So started using the RESTORE, and actually I haven't had that cramping. Of course, I only had the cramping for, it was like a couple of days in a row. And then I started using the RESTORE, haven't had the cramps ever since. So finally, probably most importantly to me, I wanted to talk about the skin benefits of the RESTORE formula. So I mentioned that I had had a fractional CO2 laser procedure, which left my skin very dry and very irritated. I did notice, and actually I had the procedure done 5 weeks ago, and I've been using this for 2 weeks. So I noticed when I started taking this powder, my skin was actually accepting the hydration, like the lotions, the emollient creams that I was using more readily, which was really nice, and I definitely did appreciate that. I also noticed that I was not quite as itchy. Now there was one exception about, it was maybe 4 or 5 nights ago where I was so itchy, and I had been using the powder, but then I neglected to use the powder for 2 days after that, and I had the worst itching that I had had ever since getting that treatment done. So I went back on the Restore because I wanted to make sure that I got the benefits from this. So it does help. Is my skin completely better? No, it probably won't be better for a while, but if I continue to use this powder, then I think it's really going to help me to get my skin to heal from that laser procedure. So it's really easy to use. You just basically put 2 scoops in. That's what they recommend to start. I've actually dropped down to 1 scoop, and the reason being that, so this is your scoop, and the greens powder is very prominent because you can see it's very green. Okay, now the issue that I ran into was that I've been using almond milk, and 8 ounces of almond milk with 2 scoops of the Restore powder is just not a great ratio, and I was just getting powdery clumpiness, and I didn't really want to add, you know, another 8 ounces of almond milk. So after a couple of days I did cut down to the 1 scoop, and I've already been getting the benefits. So I think this is a fantastic product. I actually am planning on continuing to use this so that I can get the benefits from it. I think anyone, male, female, who is looking to, I guess, you know, rejuvenate their skin, get more energy, get more mental clarity, and, you know, to get that collagen in a way that is very palatable and pleasant. This is, I mean, I would say this is a great product. So I actually like this a lot better than, say, some of the, there are some collagen protein powders that are out there that I can't stand. Like, I will not use them. I just don't do it. And in fact, I've been sort of writing off all collagen protein powders, but this came along and I actually really like it. So again, a recommendation: either use more fluid if you're going to use the 2 scoops, or drop down to 1 scoop after a few days and use 8 ounces of water, almond milk, juice, whatever you want to use. I just think the almond milk works best for me. So just remember to check out Restore Powder by Pure Beautanics. Thanks for listening, guys. Bye.